changing with sirens, and if there's going to be some protocols in place for when they'll be used and when they won't. But those went off. They also sent out phone alerts that evacuated residents, asking them to get out of the area. There's still, again, a lot to learn about why sirens weren't used in the Lahaina fire.
Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel, Down the Rabbit Hole News. I am the Rabbit. So I wanted to follow up with a couple of things that I have found and interesting things that I found. So one of the news reportings is saying that in the last couple of fires that have happened in Maui, that they are now using alerts and sirens. This kind of made me wonder too about the phone alerts. I know a lot of people had said they couldn't sound the sirens off when the fires initially started because the sirens were for tsunamis. Well, what about phone alerts? I don't even think that phone alerts were used, to warn folks. I mean, even if they couldn't sound the sirens, they could have at least sent a phone alert, which doesn't even sound like that's what happened. I thought this was interesting. So now, for whatever reason, they feel like now using the sirens is appropriate, whereas before they didn't. I'm not really sure, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is the fact that the New York Times did a report on Lahaina, and the teachers essentially losing their homes, and Lahaina parents trying to save their school community. So, you guys, we've been talking about the uproar going on in the community, the mixed messages that these teachers are getting from the Department of Education of Hawaii. All right. Now, one thing occurred to me, and I was talking to my wonderful, beautiful, wonderful member at Discord about the fact that, from what I understand as schools go, is that students in every state might vary. I'm not really sure. But students usually have to be accounted for on a certain calendar date for funds. So I was thinking that maybe the reason why the Hawaii Department of Education is pushing for school teachers to start is because of that. So most K through 12 public schools in the country are funded based on daily enrollment and attendance figures. Schools are funded by three ways. There's local taxes, federal government, and state. So my thought process was, well, maybe this is why they're pushing for some type of either online enrollment or some type of a teacher presence and student presence in order for them to qualify for some type of funding this way. I understand that piece, right? And I get it. But to me, it sounds more like there is a monetary goal from starting school and the district getting their stuff together versus the fact that you still have teachers, you have families that are displaced because of the fires. There was a number out there, I think it was 103 teachers and employees from the school, their house is burnt because of the fire. So just like the students have been impacted, so have the teachers. So as of recent, there was a community meeting where the community got to speak with the Department of Education about how to problem solve this situation. The teachers and the students and the families do not want to be bused across the island, 45-minute busing situation to and from, because they have their own families, but also they don't want to be away from the area. So this is part of the dilemma that they're facing right now. At the same time, it's I'm trying to figure out what are they going to do to kind of meet in the middle.
Teaching at hotels, teaching at other commercial properties. The Department of Education so far says the only immediate short-term plan is busing kids to central Maui and Kihei. Lahaina Luna High School's principal said this, saying it's important to get seniors on track to graduate.
My goal is to have kids and to provide an in-person education. That's what I can focus on. I want kids back on our campus. There could be long-term solutions somewhere else, but the best option for the very short term is to stay as Lahaina Luna High School and to go utilize the campus at Kalaniakoi.
For hotels, some of the concern has been the liability for young students being on property with guests, adult guests on property. Okay, and so again, the safety is very important for our students.
So many saying they want to see more creative solutions. One student came forward and asked why insurance can't be taken out if liability is such a concern.
I want students to be more involved in discussions like this. Our opinions matter too. It's not just the adults.
What happened? You guys could have done this 2 weeks ago.
In the meantime, there's been frustration awaiting the results of soil testing for the public schools up on Lahaina Luna.
What more are you going to put us through? You're a superintendent, are you not? So what is your power? What are you going to do for us?
Many said that this should have been done the first 3 weeks. Parents' concerns range from being separated to accidents that could happen on the Pali Highway. So many of them saying they just want to get around the red tape and come up with a solution. Reporting from Kahana, Jeremy Lee, KITV4 Island News.
So just like the students have been impacted, so have the teachers. Not only that, one of the questions that I had asked and I had said, why not get an account of how many students they're actually going to be teaching? Because we don't know if, unfortunately, where these missing kids are at. Did these missing kids pass away in this fire? The numbers aren't making sense from what the district has reported. They said that they started with 3,001 enrolled, and now they're down to, and now they're trying to figure out, well, where's everybody at exactly? And then the other thing I wanted to point out, which I had stressed before, is, it was a couple of years that we did the census. I believe we did the census during COVID, and there was issues with that too. Like, why are we using the census to validate some of these lists, or are we? That's not a whole lot of transparency there. Please note that a lot of these officials are elected officials, so they need to be transparent. That is the whole point. Anybody that is an elected official needs to be transparent. Anyways, just a little thought. I'm still a little sick, and I'm not going to be I'm not on camera, obviously, but I will be back. There's so many things I have to touch on as far as stories that I've been following. Please hit the like button and subscribe. I will see you guys on the next one, and I will continue to report any updates from the locals or things that I find as we are following this situation. Rabbits out.